Welcome back to Siesta with Suki. I know you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it anyway. I have a special guest. Yes. We are going to be talking about sustainability, entrepreneurship, just really seeing, not even seeing that there's almost like, can you imagine being, I don't know, the light guy, Alexander Graham Bell, even though he's not really the light guy, but we won't go there. And just coming up with a thought, a new idea, and just realizing what's around you and just conceiving of it. I love the story of our guests because it's one of those things that it's unlikely because we kind of walk around imagining who's coming up with the ideas, who's coming up with the deals. And today, it's still us, the regular people. So I love that. What's also interesting about today is my wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary to Evan. We have been married, I don't even remember how many years. Shame on me, I'd have to go back and do the math, but it's been a long time. We got a couple of decades in. So it's a great day to talk to someone who is a little bit of the beginning of their journey of marriage and babies and entrepreneurship. And it's just so inspiring. So I'm so glad to share his story with you. Aaron, thank you so much for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
I see your phone. Okay, we got to at least put it on silent.
Mujeres Artesanas de Oaxaca.
He's reminding me. You know what? That's why my guests are here, okay? And his accent is better than me. So the earrings, here I'm going to zoom right here for you, are from Oaxaca. And she's actually an artist in Oaxaca. She is in, I'm going to read this, Mujeres Artesanas de las Regiones de Oaxaca. Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat for you. So actually, a few of the earrings that you've seen me wear are actually from the store, and they actually make them with different materials and by hand. I love them, and they are responsible. They don't even know that I'm doing this. They are responsible for me coming and flashing you guys sometimes. So you might see me do one of these, and I'm like, oh. They are responsible. So I will put the link for you. Definitely go and support. They have really, really beautiful, fantastic stuff. Thank you, Aaron, for finding this for me. I appreciate it. And here I was chastising him for his phone. Shame on me, right? All right. So, Aaron, we gotta start with your story. So I know we're here in Oaxaca, but we gotta take us back to before you even knew there was a Oaxaca and even existed.
You know, that's funny because before I knew there was Oaxaca, I'd heard of Oaxaca and I'd heard of Oaxacan food. And in LA, which is also called Oaxaca, California, because there's so many Oaxacans living there. I think more Oaxacans live in Los Angeles than live in the city.
I did reach that.
City of Oaxaca.
Yes.
There's one restaurant called La Guelaguetza, and Guelaguetza is run by, I can't think of her name, but she's really the person that introduced Oaxacan food and Oaxacan cuisine to Los Angeles. And it's in Koreatown, of all places, and it's in a giant old Chinese restaurant.
Okay.
And it is fantastic. We would go there, and my God, it's expensive. But I always thought, man, someday I'll get to Oaxaca. And I was a professional musician, and I got a call from a friend saying, hey, we're going to do the Sustainability Festival in Oaxaca. We'd like you to come down and play.
Okay.
So it was great. That was in 2014, maybe? 2015.
So what's a sustainability festival?
It was called Catapulta. Catapulta was a big sustainability. It brought a bunch of entrepreneurs, green, inventors, speakers, down to Oaxaca for 4 days of, workshops and stuff, and it culminated in a big concert with Los Ángeles Azules, which was super funny. I had fun, down by at the train station.
Okay.
You know, the train station
yes,
museum?
the one with the kids, yep.
And we ended up performing, and then they asked us, each person who was performing, they asked us to do something to help the community. And we thought, you know, what if we brought down a bunch of instruments? And so we contacted Kala ukuleles and said, hey, we want to bring a bunch of ukuleles down for these kids in the Sierra Norte and the Sierra Sur. And they sent me a giant box of ukuleles, which is very hard to fly with.
Yes.
But we arranged with a thing that was called Libros para Pueblos, books for the pueblos. And we went out to a school a couple hours north of Guelatao in the Sierra Norte, and we brought 15 ukuleles and put together a musical, like a little simple booklet so the kids could. So the thing about a ukulele is they're small enough that kids can play them. And once you play music, if you don't speak another language, music is a great bridge.
Yes.
You know, and if you're rich and I'm poor, or whatever our differences are, you can have a conversation through music.
Yes.
And it can open doors for people that don't have a lot of, that don't get a lot of doors open for them.
So you took that very seriously, because that you make it sound simple, but this doesn't seem like it was so simple. This was some work to kind of get it all.
Yeah, well, the funniest part was then we linked up with a group of clowns, and we didn't know these clowns were famous Mexican rock stars.
Okay.
So the clowns would go in and they would entertain the kids, and then we were bringing the music, and then we ended up hanging out with a bunch of Mexican rock stars who dress as like clowns without borders.
Ah.
And the food was so good. I ate a taco at Taqueria Taco Mera, which is on Independencia and Libres. Mm-hmm. I ate one, and I ate two, and then I ate 24, and I started crying again. My wife said, "Are you crying?" And I said, "I'm not. I am. I'm bawling over the best taco I've ever had." And that was the moment we thought we need to live in Oaxaca.
This is back in 2014.
Yeah, 2014.
Okay, so this is a while ago. Okay, I want to go back with you, because first of all, you're gonna have to explain to me, your accent is fantastic, and your Spanish is fantastic. So take me back to childhood. Where are you born?
I was born in San Diego.
Okay.
The good side, the west of the freeway.
Okay. I don't know the good or bad side.
It's the beach
so
side.
I'll take your word for it.
No offense if you're not from the good side of San Diego.
That's okay. We're in Oaxaca, so.
My dad actually taught at the University of Guadalajara for 30-some years.
Okay.
Doesn't speak a lick of Spanish except when he orders Mexican food. His favorite thing to say is, "I would like one chile colorado burrito." I'm like, "Dad, just learn Spanish, please." or just say chili colorado burrito like the rest of us.
So what did he teach?
He's a forensic chemist, and he was a ballistics and DNA expert.
Okay.
And he would go down to the University of Guadalajara, and he would help open up police crime labs.
Okay.
So we'd always ride around in bulletproof cars, because if you want to be an enemy of the people, be opening crime labs in bad parts of Mexico.
Okay.
He worked on the desaparecidas, the women who went missing in Juarez.
Okay.
And he just went all around the country, giving forensics classes, DNA, bloodstain analysis, ballistics, pretty much how to solve crimes.
Okay. You say we, because he took you with him?
He would take me with to translate for him, which was really, really fun.
Okay, but how'd you learn Spanish?
Growing up in San Diego, you're kind of dumb if you don't.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh man, we're talking about a lot of people in San Diego. We're sorry. Okay.
I'm not. You gotta learn it. Just learn Spanish. It's 51% Spanish speaking, so 49%ers here. We better learn Spanish.
Okay.
Also, we'd always go down to Tijuana. I love Tijuana. I pretty much grew up there. It's such a fun place.
Okay.
And then we go surf in Rosarito. We go down every Sunday. We used to skip high school classes just to drive to Tijuana, go get drinks in the middle of the day.
Oh man. See, it's scary when you say that as a parent, right? Because when you're a new parent and you admit that, you did some things that you're a little suspicious of, and now you're looking at your newborn child and you're like,
oh man,
oh wow.
I'm not going to let her drive a car. She's not going to drive a VW Bug. We realized yesterday, unless she wears a helmet.
Oh my goodness. See, this is what happens.
And we used to drive around in VW things. Here we had 3 of them in Oaxaca. And they're just death traps. And we sold all 3 of them when my wife was pregnant. Because there's no way I'm driving a living, breathing baby in one of those cars.
Oh, yes.
We had to install our own seatbelts.
Yeah. I know this world, yes. And no one has a car seat, so it's like, yeah. Okay, so we're in San Diego. So you're born in San Diego. Your dad
spent a ton of time in Mexico because it's very close. I mean, we're 45 minutes from the border. And back then you didn't need a passport. You didn't need anything. Okay. You just drive across, walk across, whatever. We'd go on surf trips all the time. I had a babysitter named Guadalupe Rivera, and she was from Mexico, and she would stay. My parents both had full-time jobs, and she would babysit pretty much all day long when I was a little kid, and she spoke Spanish, obviously, and I learned a lot from her. But then when I was in college, I went to Barcelona and spent 2 years there. I wrote for a magazine. I wrote travel articles.
Okay.
And I learned much more Spanish there, and then came back, and, well, it helps if you speak the language.
It does, yes. Okay, so you got to help me with, Aaron, you got to help me with how you're financing this, right? So you go to college, what do you do what do you study in college, first of all?
Oh, poetry.
Poetry.
Whoops. I went to a UC school and studied poetry.
Nothing wrong with poetry. It helps you think. And
Yeah,
change your
which
mind.
certainly doesn't get you a job. You
Okay,
don't,
well-
hey, I'm hiring poets. No one's hiring poets.
Okay. Newsflash for any of you out there.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
So
for
then I
anybody
went back
poets.
to grad school for classical guitar performance.
Okay.
No one is either. They're not hiring classical guitarists either.
Okay.
But that
Lesson
was in
learned.
LA. That was at Cal Arts.
Okay.
And from Cal Arts, we were in professional bands forever and did a lot of touring. I met my wife in Jackson, Mississippi. Her band was opening for our band.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
inadvertently kissed her sister in front of her, and now we've been together for 10 years.
Look at this. Rest is history.
Yeah. But she and I both decided, I'll tell you, when Trump got elected, we decided we had to get out of the United States.
Okay.
And we thought, where could we go? And then we thought, why don't we just go to Oaxaca, because it's wonderful. And we showed up. We didn't know anybody, really, except for a couple phone numbers I had from the Catapulta Festival. It was a couple years before. And we opened a tiki bar, and we opened a couple of restaurants, because you got to do something to stay busy.
Yes. And make some money, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a thing.
You
Okay.
gotta, you got to make your own work.
Yes. Okay. So you end up coming to Oaxaca and you decide, so you make it sound so easy. I know it's not easy because I live this world. When you say open up a couple restaurants, yeah, it's not so simple. And that's probably different then than it is now.
Yeah, it was eight years ago.
Yeah.
And it was much more Wild West. And then they keep making new laws. More laws and more taxes. It's really cost prohibitive to do these things that we were able to do even 8 years ago. Now in Oaxaca. Don't get permits. If you get permits, you open yourself up to a world of hurt.
So
An
that's
inspector can't inspect a place that isn't legally there.
well, they just stick the suspendito obra on your
Yeah,
on
then
your
you
stuff.
just open it up. Which you shouldn't do.
Okay, this is Aaron's advice, okay? Because we are not going to, endorse. I hear you.
We've run businesses here for years.
Yes.
And we've run businesses legitimately, and we've run businesses not as legitimately, and trying to...
But mostly legitimate.
Trying to
we don't want
dot your
to get in
I's and
trouble.
cross your T's all the way here is heartbreaking. The bureaucracy is endless. It's just level upon level upon level, and depending on the day and the whims of whoever's behind the desk, they want different stuff at different times. Oh, that has to be on blue paper, but signed in pink ink. You need a picture of you with your arm around a man named Jose. What? I don't...
So I will attest, I'm going to go give you the PC version, that it can be challenging. And yes, rules do seem to change day by day. So you kind of want to, if you can, get it all done in the one day. And then
Yeah.
the most amazing, when I say amazing, like you just wouldn't imagine things that will come up. So I'll just give you one really quick. I talk to people about, properties and getting property and starting businesses, right? And one of the people I was consulting with says to me that, she bought a property, everything was going great, about ready to start, building. The neighbors filed with the municipality to say that she's causing damage to their walls because of the excavation. And so she actually has to sign an agreement that she guarantees their walls for the next 2 years in a seismic place. And, I would have never in a million years imagined that was even a possibility.
That is a savvy neighbor and Sharky.
Yeah,
They're Sharky waters.
They've got some people there, and so it's really. But actually, that to say, when you talk about the unwritten rules, if you will, like I always tell people, don't just buy the house. Understand that you're going to join the neighborhood,
Oh, yeah.
and you need to go talk to some folks. You need to talk to your neighbors. You need to really be a part of the community for real, because if you're already visually an outsider, right? And you come in and you're more of an outsider, it's like, it's really problematic. That's why I'm so glad I'm talking to you, because you have absolutely you're like the poster person for not only, integration, but wanting to add value to and kind of see, what else is next. But I want to talk to you, I want to go back to your businesses for a second. So you have how many restaurants at this point?
We have one now.
Okay.
We'll keep them forever because it's in a beautiful location.
Okay, tell us the name,
Sur a Norte. It's a beautiful terrace.
Well,
next
where is
to
it?
The Santo Domingo Church.
So is the one across from it?
It's on the side of it, upstairs terrace,
Okay.
and it's all well, you gotta be honest, it's all the food I missed from California. So we
Okay.
have, it's more Baja style food.
Okay.
Tacos de Huachinango.
I'm trying to think of where it is. I go out there all the time. So you said it's next to the Santo Domingo Church?
If you know where Casa Oaxaca is,
Yes.
and you keep walking towards the church,
Okay.
towards the plaza,
Yes.
we are on the left, right next to La Rueca,
Okay.
that big, incredibly expensive French place.
Okay.
We
I
are
actually
right
know that
next to
place.
it.
So the food's good, but he's not lying to you. You know,
Oh
just
my god, that cheese plate's
it's-
a 1,200 peso cheese plate.
it's a number.
It's just cheese.
That's because he's Oaxacan practically, you know. So you come out here and you're like, I know good cheese, and yes, it is a little pricey. So you need a couple zeros behind those pesos when you go there. Okay, so tell us the name again, so we make sure folks go.
Sur a Norte.
Sur a Norte. Okay, and the cuisine is everything you miss. So what do you miss?
California burritos.
Burritos. Okay.
Filet tacos.
Okay.
Breaded cauliflower tacos. I don't know. We do a
Breaded
Sunday,
cauliflower tacos. You got me.
We do a Sunday brunch called Gospel Brunch, where
Okay.
we only listen to gospel music because we are next to a church.
Oh, that's nice.
Sunday brunch has delicious breakfast burritos.
Okay.
Acai bowls, good ones.
I literally can't believe I've not been. I feel like I probably have been there, and I just didn't know.
Oh, we have a fantastic cocktail bar there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will come and I will be there. So we are going to go because this sounds absolutely fantastic. So you sold the other ones. You had Aloha at one point.
Yeah, we had Aloha Oaxaca. That was fun. It's fun building the first
It
tiki bar in
is.
Mexico.
And they do great karaoke. I go there to do my karaoke.
Yeah.
I told you, right? So I go at 9 o'clock when no one's there. I do because the DJ is very like, okay, what's your next set? So I almost have like 30, 45 minutes of just me and my song. So I go along. Yes, I love it. So don't show up at 9 o'clock. 10 is okay. And then, okay, so you had Aloha. What
And
else
then
did
we
you have?
opened Fatty's Cantina,
Okay.
which is on Porfirio and Diaz. And that place it's awesome because it looks like it's right kind of catty corner from Salón de la Fama.
Okay.
And it's just a little traditional cantina with the best chicken wings in the city.
Okay.
They're fantastic. No vegetarian options. Chicken wings or hamburgers.
We'll be okay. We're trying to convert folks. It's all right. Okay. So that's number 3. What's
That's
4?
it. That's it. Those are them. I also have a chicken restaurant in Seattle, and I had a bar in Nashville.
Okay. So you got to work with me, Aaron, because I'm seeing a lot of money, but I'm not seeing where this money's coming from. So how do we do all this?
Partners.
Okay.
Smart decisions. And starting a business here, I think we opened Aloha for $20,000. That was it, all in.
Okay.
Everything. Remodel.
So 20,000 USD.
20,000 US dollars.
Okay, so we're still talking about 400,000 pesos, give or take.
Yeah, which is about what it takes to open a restaurant, or it did a couple
Back
years
then,
ago.
yeah. Now, you know, this is another
Now
world.
don't even bother if you're in the central. Just go to someone else's restaurant.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
start your own.
Okay, and this is without owning the building. So this is
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you work out your lease agreements? And the reason I ask is because I've definitely been talking to some people with restaurants in Central, quite a few. I know you know New Babel is closed. The rents have just been skyrocketing, even though they have agreements.
We locked in a 7-year lease
Okay.
because, and it's really unheard of. Most leases here are just year by year.
Yeah.
But having run restaurants for a long time, we knew that there's no point putting in 3 million pesos for a build out if you only have it for a year.
Yeah.
And then we locked in a fantastic price. We just got lucky. My wife and I, we have a talent of finding really nice places for super cheap.
Okay.
It
So I'm just
takes
going to
a lot
go
of
with you to go
legwork.
places. Yes,
Yeah.
because I have some places
And
to look at.
we're
Okay.
friends. We are friends with most every other restaurateur around. So you just know people, and places will come up and they'll say, "Man, I'd really like to do something there, but I don't have any money. Or I don't have any partners. I don't have an idea, but I want the space."
Okay.
So that's kind of how the restaurant thing. It was just a natural progression of what else could we do? We live here. Let's make this place. Let's make it reflective of us as well. Things that we enjoy and things that we would like to share.
Okay. So, we can't be here without obviously addressing the gentrification elephant, right? The idea of, how do you see yourself in that whole gentrification argument?
Well, every town needs a tiki bar. Every great
Okay.
town should have a great tiki bar.
Okay.
I don't think having a bar is really gentrifying. Also, I mean, but the world is round. Or in Spanish you say, es una naranja, right? The world is an orange. And the world is for everybody to enjoy. It shouldn't be explicitly this or explicitly that. we didn't come in and raise the rent. I will tell you that we actually have cheaper rents than most people.
Okay, well,
Yes, we were very savvy about
Okay.
it. My partners in all of our businesses are Mexican. They're Oaxacan, but they're Oaxacan with Spanish roots. Or one of our partners is Oaxacan and Swedish. Go figure. But we're all just people trying to get by.
Okay. Okay.
We're not doing anything exploitative. And
Well, at least that's probably not your intent. Because I always think about intent versus the actual reality, right? You're right. Like I said, I've been talking to some restaurateurs on kind of that Maid-Row and Calle Forma. The rents have literally doubled.
oh, they tripled.
It's unreal.
Yeah, restaurants close. Usually we play a game when a new restaurant opens. We make bets on how long it will be open.
I'm at
Usually it's
3 months. I'm at
3 months,
yeah.
4 months. They just opened one in El Tule. Agavero put a
Oh, yes, I
restaurant
saw
in
it.
Tule.
It's not open anymore?
Oh, it's gone, and they want 90,000 pesos a month for that building. You'd have to be open 8 days a week, 30 hours a day at
even
full
make that.
capacity to make that money.
That's crazy because I love Agavero, and I thought to myself,
Yeah.
I can go to that one instead
Nope, that
of the
one's
one.
gone.
And Agavero's got their one in Casa de Barro, so this was their second. So they're not even new to the restaurant world.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
And we were excited when it opened because we like it too.
Yeah, it's new and there's something kind of out there.
Like a
Yeah,
rock
and
there.
I suppose, and so the reason I just wanted to have this conversation with you, and probably for the people raising rents, I think, I'm not sure if they're feeling like, so as a restaurateur, I guess that's what I want to go with it. There's this idea, I suppose, that there are all these people walking into your restaurant, and so it translates into a certain amount of profit. And it's almost like they see more bodies and they feel like the profit is doubling. But the reality is your expenses are still relative
Oh, yeah.
to every person that walks in.
Restaurants make nothing. even, I mean, Casa Oaxaca has, I think, 175 employees.
Wow.
You know? So how are you making money off of that? And their prices have skyrocketed.
Yes. Well, I haven't been there in a year. I feel like I'd be scared now then if their prices have skyrocketed, because I remember last year I was kind of like, wow.
I haven't been there for, I think, 2 years because, I mean, it used to be affordable and wonderful. And now it's just as delicious, I guess, but
Yeah.
it is 3 times as expensive.
And but the rents too, right? So the
Yeah.
rents go up, and as the owner, you're in this place. You don't want to raise the prices on the food,
But you have to.
But you have to.
Because you have to look out for yourself first. You can't look out for anybody else if you're not taking care of yourself.
That's right, because you can't even pay anyone.
No.
Honestly, if you're not. And then the actual cost of food and the goods has gone up significantly too.
Well, I'll tell you, during the pandemic, a lot of restaurants just fired all their employees and shut their doors and didn't pay them their sueldos, didn't pay them their aguinaldos, didn't pay them anything.
Mm-hmm.
We kept our doors open both at the Tiki Bar and at Sur La Norte. We fed the community. We made 300 tacos a day and brought them to the overflowing hospitals to feed the nurses and doctors. We made sure that we did community outreach. The police that were patrolling could always come in and get a free taco. We give discounts to people that worked in the plaza. And we kept it open, and we kept our employees at a full salary. Had to dig real deep into our pockets to do that.
Yeah.
But you're also nothing if the weakest link in your chain is how strong your chain is.
Yes. And I imagine that your employees therefore stayed. They were
They
loyal.
were there for the long haul.
They were there for the long haul.
Which we're really happy about.
Okay. Well, that always comes back to you, because I think that is what I talk about when I talk about being part of the community. It's kind of the quiet, silent part. Obviously, I didn't know that. I'm sure that most people, and a lot of people who even know you, may not have known.
Oh, nobody has a clue. And
Now-
that's
now
better.
they know.
Yeah.
Well, it's better in some ways, but I think in other ways, like people might see you and then they make assumptions. You know, he's here to exploit and da 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 da. And for me, you know, I believe like you, like we're humans, right? And some human beings are going to do some pretty bad things, and then other human beings are going to really do some great things. And there's no way for you to know unless you talk to that human being.
Yeah, also, I'm not concerned what anybody thinks. I know in my heart I'm a good person. What I do makes me feel good, and hopefully makes people around me feel good.
Yes.
And if you want to look at me on the street and say, "Hi, gringos, go home," that's up to you. But it doesn't hurt my feelings.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that doesn't hurt his feelings. Okay, well, that's good. Because, I mean, you see the signs sometimes, and, like, people, you know, and it's a very, it's a sign, right?
Yeah.
On the one hand, for me, I totally get people's frustrations because the things are just going up, and how much you're getting paid is not going up, and it starts to feel like, especially if you're Oaxacan, right? Because I'm not even Oaxacan, and even myself, sometimes I feel like, wow, just like you said, I don't go to Casa de Oaxaca anymore. There are places that I no longer go to because the numbers just don't work.
Yeah.
Right? And I want to go and I want to continue supporting, but I understand their kind of point too. So if I feel that way, I can only imagine someone who's been here this has been their whole life. This is their city, and it feels like they see foreigners and they do in kind of a correlation of foreigners equals rising prices,
Yep.
equals I'm being pushed out. The truth is there's probably a little bit of that because there's a little bit of everything. It is also true, as I'm sure you know, there are a lot of Mexicans also coming in from other parts of Mexico.
Mexico City, I was Oaxaca.
It's just, and we're not going to talk bad about you guys in Mexico City.
A lot of the restaurants and a lot of the businesses are being pushed out because people with more money from Mexico City are coming and opening their things here.
And so but that's a little bit of an unseen, right?
Yeah, nobody.
Who's going to write, Mexico City, go home, right?
No, I look a lot more like the enemy than someone who looks like they are from here.
Yes.
And there's never going to be a day when I walk down the street and people are like, he's Oaxacan.
No, that's not yeah, okay, yeah. We know that's not happening.
8 years and I still look like me.
Yes, you always look like you. And it's okay, like you said. I mean, I think personally the people kind of, no one's shocked to see you, right? People in international field coming in with different ideas. I think that is to the benefit, but also us being very conscious and cognizant. Because, like I said again, and we're going to talk about this more in the second half, I actually am very personally concerned about resources in Oaxaca, right? When you see the water problem, like I feel that. I don't just feel that because I've got the business. I feel that from a people standpoint, from the standpoint of my neighbors. I know my neighbors. I know the kids that were born here in the last few years. And I get it doesn't work to just say, hey, let's just have all these people come here without thinking about, well, okay, what's the deal with the water? What are we going to do about electricity? And as foreigners, we can't really do much, because unless you've become a citizen, I don't know if you've done that yet, you can't really participate in politics like legally. So you kind of have to stay out of it.
You can never become, I think you have to renounce a U.S. citizenship to become a Mexican citizen. We have a kid here. So she is literally our anchor baby. Through her,
I'm an anchor baby.
Through her, we became permanent residents.
Okay.
We have every right except we can't vote, and that's fine because there's no point voting.
Okay, we're not gonna do politics. We are not. I'm gonna be in so much trouble with this one.
Just here, my daughter can vote. She can run for president because she's Mexican.
She can.
But I can't.
Yes.
But you can go to your municipality. You can join different groups. You can sit in all the talks. I mean, in Tule, where we live, we just walk up to the door and everyone knows you. And if you have a queja or if you have a suggestion, you can go to a weekly or monthly meeting where the town discusses things, and then...
Well, that's what I love about Oaxaca. Oaxaca, outside of the city, obviously, the municipalities, you do have a lot more of an ability to affect positive change.
Yeah, every voice there counts.
Every voice there actually counts, yes. The city, things get a little, tricky because obviously there are different interests at play.
We live in a mancomunado, which is actually a town that is self-governed. So even though we're 20 minutes outside Oaxaca City, we have nothing to do with Oaxaca City. We have our own trash, we have our own water, we have our own recycling, we have our own system of government. Every single person pays 3 times a year for the big festivals that we have, and you get a little receipt and you put it on your fridge that says proves that you paid for. We just had our festival of the Asuncion, I believe, and it ends with a giant rodeo. There's a huge fair, 24 hours of concerts.
Is it all communal land?
No.
Okay.
It's ejido and communal land. If you go on the other side of the freeway, but we live in a fraccionamiento that is whatever the opposite of communal land is.
It's like private basically,
land. Yeah. The center section of El Tule is private.
Okay.
But all the farmlands and all the fields, that's ejidos and communal.
Okay.
They even have signs that say in Spanish, "Don't buy problems." Make sure you ask the municipality before purchasing because a lot of this is communal.
Okay. But all communal is not like bad. I mean, in the scheme of things, it's but definitely being part of the community. Obviously, understanding the rules, what you have to do as part of the community, etc. I was actually asking you, just because you mentioned having to pay for the festivals and what have you. And I know when you're part of Communal Land, that's part of the deal. So I was mildly surprised.
Chile has giant festivals. They have a birthday party for the tree every year. The tree was born
yes.
sometime in October. Everyone gets on the tree and sings Las Mañanitas for a tree.
Oh,
and then
you
there's a
sing
giant dance. And in
Do you pay for your Galaguetza too?
Not for this one.
You didn't pay for, no, I mean, but you have a because I went to your Galaguetza last year.
Yeah. Yes, we do pay for it. It's like 150 pesos for the 3 or 4 festivals a year.
Okay.
And then for in Christmas or for Tres Reyes, they actually bring a
Three
truck.
Kings, by the way, for all you.
They bring a truck full of presents for any kid who lives in El Tule.
Aww.
They'll knock on your door and say, "How many kids do you have?" And they give you a little present. That's the little bag of blocks that my baby's playing with today.
Oh man, we like that.
It's
okay.
fantastic.
Okay. We're not going to speak about it too much, okay? Okay, so we're going to end here on the first part of Siesta with Suki. Thank you so much for sharing kind of your background and your thoughts and just kind of giving us a glimpse into some of the possibilities in Oaxaca. In part 2, we are going to talk about something that I found so fascinating when you talked to me about your project with the agave plants and the sustainability. So we're going to get knee deep into that. So we're going to end here. Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you for joining me on part 1. I promise you part 2, you must pay attention to. This is so good. I will see you on the other side. Ciao.